All right, very pleased to be joined by Dylan O'Brien. How's everything going with you? What's going on?
Absolutely nothing, man. What's going on with you? So you talk.
I wouldn't say nothing either, but yeah, it's it's not a lot, nothing exciting. I don't know. I'm in Texas. Kenjack's in New York. I don't know if New York's any more exciting than Texas right now, but
it's too warm. It's way too warm.
It's 30 degrees in Texas right now.
That it flipped from 30 degrees to like 70 here in a day, and it's
yeah. I got off the plane last night, and it was like 68 degrees.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just ridiculous.
It was awesome.
We got a lot to talk about. Let's start out though with the outfit. I feel like we're at that point of the year where it's like it's March, but you forget it's March, and then you watch a good movie. You're like, oh, they're releasing good movies now. Like there's like, oh, it's that. That's right. We've turned the page finally.
They tried to release this in February, so I don't know if it got like better, and then they like pushed it, or yeah, no, that's hilarious. I've seen some fun movies the front part of the year. You know what I'm starting to realize? I feel like January and February is becoming like such a fun time to go to the movies because they're releasing like, I feel like it's now the only time where you're seeing like, like original things come out that are
that's like a point
of, like, movies. Like have you seen this Lost City trailer with like Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum and Brad Pitt? It's like movie stars, a studio movie, like an original, I think, concept. I was like, wait, I thought this was like extinct, I like can't wait to see it. You know what I mean?
What I say? So I think what else came out in the first 2 months? Like Jackass. There's actually been a couple good on streaming as well.
Jackass. Yeah. Went to see Scream.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I was seeing trailers and I was like, wait, there's some funky. So all the funky stuff is now up front. It feels like.
The outfit, though, I want to give a little synopsis for those who don't know. Leonard is an English tailor who used to craft suits in London. After personal tragedy, he finds himself in Chicago operating a small tailor shop in a rough part of town where he makes beautiful clothes for the only people around who can afford them, a family of vicious gangsters. March 18th, this is out. You, Mark Rylance, Zoe Deutsch, Graham Moore directing this. Academy Award winner Graham Moore. Very important, no. But this is almost like a play in a sense, like a stage. It's really intimate, small scale. It is a cool thriller movie set in a very, like I said, a small space that gets a little like claustrophobic for like the viewer in a very good way.
Cool. Yeah. It's like it's very one of the coolest things I thought about it when I first read it was like it's this. It has like a whodunit feel in a way, and it's you focus on these. It's the period. It's 50s. It's Chicago. It's the outfit. It's gangsters. It's suits. It's smoking. It's all that shit. But then it's like it's got this really cool like chess match element to it where it becomes a really fun game. I think to try to like figure out who's kind of like out ahead and like who's manipulating who. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just like a fun. It's a blast. It's like a throwback to like noir Chicago movies that we don't really get anymore. So I loved everything about it when I first read it. I was like, I'm still shocked that I was able to even be a part of it. Like when I first read it, I just wanted to even like meet Graham because I was like, this is the shit. Like this is like one of the coolest scripts I've ever read. So and yeah, not surprising. I mean, the man had an Oscar at like 30 years old. I don't know. He looks like 19, so I don't know.
He still looks young too. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I don't even know how old he is. I remember one of our crew members, one of the first times Graham walked into the set, one of our crew members was like, he was like, is he 12?
So you just wandered on the wrong set?
I was like, he's 13, 7th grade. He's brilliant. He's fucking genius.
The roles they're kind of world spinning. It was a nice kind of change of pace for you as well too, because you've been in bigger stuff as well. But like you said, like this is a smaller, more intimate setting. Like, is there a preference for you in a role like this? You're like, oh, maybe the smaller scale stuff is something I prefer. I don't know. Like, where does your head stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I love smaller stuff. Like, it's funny. I mean, I don't know where the perception lies. I guess I do. I guess it is like that. I've been in bigger things, I guess, but I've always felt like I've been in small things. Like because I mean, even with like something like Maze Runner or something, which was probably the biggest thing I'd ever been a part of, that when that started, that felt quite small, like it, just in terms of scale to like, that we were trying to achieve to the time that we had to achieve it. It was like, it was fast, it was gritty, it was like long days, felt intimate, didn't feel like a giant studio production. We were like out in a fields with like cameras and, so I do think that I like that environment a lot. There's something to that. You get really tight with your team, and everyone sort of can operate in like a really comfortable space, and I feel like that's when you get the best shit. So yeah, I loved it. I mean, I was again, it was like when I first read it, I was just like, this would be a fucking dream to get to do, like. And yeah, the scale of it certainly was appealing because it's fun. It's fun to do those small things, and you're in and out, and it's quick, and you're not somewhere for 4 months, and
Yeah, you're not in like Bulgaria or Toronto or wait, where's the other? Atlanta, Louisiana, and
all the hubs.
That's it. All the hubs of all the tax shelter places for filming or tax incentive places for filming. Something that I think is really interesting about this is that, it is like a gangster movie, but it's not really a gangster movie. Like it's hard to explain. Like it's the gangster movie sort of genre. Like there's been so many of them are so great. And this feels like it almost takes that element of it and it's like in the periphery, and it's more of like a very cool, like Jeff was saying, like a stage drama just set in that gangster world, which I find so unique. Like it was such a refreshing take on in this world. Is that something that sort of drew you to this as well?
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's like sort of uses like the gangster world, like the Chicago setting, the 50s period. It's all like divisive, and to tell this like story that essentially is like, unraveling this mystery behind this like one man, who from the get-go you just have a completely different idea of than at the end of the movie. And that's like the biggest, like, that's the biggest turn the entire time. And that's like where, I mean, again, I've been telling this a bunch, but when I first read the script, I like fucking I was on a plane, I like flew out of my chair at the end, and I was like clapping. But yeah, no, it's a really good point, because it's the thing about like Graham's writing, and his partner, he wrote this with Jonathan McClain. Jonathan McClain, by the way.
John McClane, yeah.
Just had to highlight that because how fucking amazing is that? Their script is it's like it's just so much more than what's on the surface, and then that's thematically too, like what it plays into. It's I just thought the whole thing was so clever, and deep, and just really, really dialed in, and fun.
You got to do this really cool sort of old-timey Chicago accent for this movie, which I really enjoyed. Is there any other accent you have in the tank right now that you're dying to try out for a movie? Like you're like, I got this, I don't know, some accent where you're like, I want to be an Aussie, I want to be British, I want to do this. I know I can nail it.
Oof. No, it's like the accent thing. It's so funny. What's funny is I never thought I could do a Chicago. I also still don't know if I did. But like the Chicago was something that was not, I didn't like have it in my back pocket, And if anything, I don't really even think I ended up deciding to really like lay into it more in just the weeks before we started shooting. Like, and I was really like digging into prep, and I just started being like, I actually think like, I'm like, he'd be flaunting it. This guy, he's such a flaunter. He flaunts everything, so why wouldn't he flash, his fucking accent, and like, one of the interesting things though is like, we didn't even have my dad like cast, like when I like started shooting. So I was like, this guy, whoever comes in here is going to have to, match to me, and then it's fucking, Simon Russell Beale comes in. He's like this, he's like the co-god of like acting in London with Mark, and I was like, all right, well, he's going to have to follow my lead, which was hilarious to say to him. But I was like, cause I already like impersonated him in the movie, and I was like, here's how I did it. So here's how I'm like telling him how to, I don't even think he cared.
He was so brilliant in Death of Stalin recently. I remember when he showed up in this movie, I was just like, oh, geez, I fucking love this.
I'm going to watch Death of Stalin. Like, that was my first thought when he walked in. I was like, oh, I'm watching that this week. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You get to play a lot of good guys. I feel like a lot of complicated good guys, 3D good guys, but this is where you get to play, like, Richie, I would say, is a complicated bad guy. And did you think was that like fun? I think, is it more fun for you to play a bad guy versus a good guy? Because we ask this question a lot to actors, and I feel like we get a lot of differing answers. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's good guy, bad guy. It's all fun to play. I think what's really intriguing at the end of the day, and like no matter what it is the complexity like behind that. Because I mean, it's not like. It's not interesting if it's just like an on the nose, like for no reason, bad guy or bad energy, to me at least, And what I thought was so cool about Richie was like, when I first read it, I was just like, oh, this is like kind of fucking bad guy, And then the more I dug into it, and got to, enter his headspace. Like, it's like, I was like, oh, he's actually like the good guy out of all of them. It's a world of bad, and having to survive, and having to be a little cutthroat in order to do that. And he actually is like sort of the first one to falter because in ways that I think he really presents as, this domineering kind of like, bombastic, like showboaty, flashy, boss's son, don't fuck with me kind of guy. But he's actually like he's the most terrified one, and he's actually the one who doesn't have like any of the stones, necessary, and he knows it, and it's why he has to like overcompensate. And he knows that Francis is his dad's preference. I think he's got a huge insecurity about like being the sort of the heir to the throne, and knowing that he like is not equipped to handle it at all. But he knows everybody, at least for now, has to fucking listen to what he's got to say. And he utilizes that, but he's really just like a scared kid. He's the scared kid out of anybody, and I think there's something really human about how he, when it comes down to it, he can't pull the trigger,
Mm-hmm. Graham Moore, for those who don't know, just to clear it, if you didn't know what he won the Oscar for, Imitation Game, wrote the screenplay for Imitation Game a couple years back with Benedict Cumberbatch. But first-time director, I read something where he joked, he's like, no, I would have not liked to have made my directorial debut during a pandemic. That obviously is not the preference. But what's it like working with a first-time director, especially someone so young? Like, do you catch someone like maybe learning on the fly there? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's, first of all, he completely deserved the opportunity. I would say, he's got the gold statue for one, but also like, the job he did with this script and the size of, and the scale of it, it's like, it's yours, man. And Graham, I mean, it's always interesting, right? Cause I think it's interesting to see, I think probably for himself too, like I don't know, like how I can imagine like stepping into that role for the first time and sort of, cause you have to have your hands in everything, and it's all decision making. It's all problem solving. It's all like, that's what's so funny about directing at the end of the day. Like if you think at all that you're going to like come in and just get your cool little shot list that you came up with, like, it's like, yo, that's not the gig. Like, it's like how much you can sort of handle on the fly, everything that's like going wrong around you. Basically. It's like, it's constant, problem solving and decision making. And Graham is like really, really decisive. He's really like, he's got really good taste, and he's really collaborative and really trusting, and like his team around him. We have like an amazing crew, and then with the actors too, I mean, the piece lended itself to being like sort of prepped and rehearsed like a play. And then I think with Mark as well, coming into the fold and how he likes to go about things, it was great that we had that time to almost fully rehearse the entire screenplay, all the way through like a play in like the week preceding the film, which you never get to do, so, and that's, I'd say, a huge testament to, Graham, like fighting for that time and being just like, so collaborative as a director who wrote the piece too. Sometimes they can be really stuck to their words, especially when his words are fucking nasty too. Like you want to say everything that he writes on the page. You're not trying to change much, But then if there's something you do want to change or add, you know, because it's like inspiring you, and you're like, oh man, can I also throw this in? He's like, you know, he's so game for it too, which is a great quality. So he's got incredible qualities as a filmmaker, and yeah, still mind blowing that it was his first time. The guy's just so smart.
It is absolutely insane. I mean, I would say right now, as we're at in the year, I'd say The Outfit's definitely one of my favorite movies of the year so far. Reminder, that's out March 18th in this year. That's kind of stupid to say. I'm just used to this in COVID time. I used to like interview people, and then like the movies wouldn't come out for 8 months. So like, right. I'm just used to like waiting and being like, oh yeah, it actually comes out in 8 months from now.
I know it comes out, doesn't it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So we're gonna loop our way back to that, but we do want to talk to you about some other stuff, including a very recent appearance you had in a show that we love, Curb Your Enthusiasm. We recently we interviewed Josh Gad a few weeks ago, or actually a few days ago, I guess. And he did a small role as well in Curb, and he loved it. But what was your experience like with Larry and the Curb team? Yeah,
I loved it too. I mean, it's like, first of all, it's so, I mean, it's such a space that like you want to, I remember when like that audition came, I did it. I didn't like think I was going to get it necessarily. I mean, I was like in New York, and but like, how are you going to say no to a, like a 10-minute like Zoom improv like with Larry David? Like that to me was like the win, you know. I tried to screen record it. It's so funny. I tried to like screen record it because I wanted to like send it to my mom, because she was gonna freak. And I did. I recorded it, but I didn't realize I had like headphones on for the audition, so I don't have sound. And it was like such a colossal fuck up. But luckily I got the gig and got to do that. Was like the first thing that I did sort of after like initial quarantine. And it was funny. And then I did my 2 days. I did the first day like before I went and did the outfit. Then I went and did like the outfit, and then didn't do my second day on that until like 6 months later, like after that movie. Larry's like incredible. He's super cool, super nice. Like also, I mean, he like creatively, you know, he just like knows exactly like what he wants. And like, it's also really cool to have like a guy like that who is quick to laugh. You know, I think sometimes with those personalities, it can be intimidating being around them. And like, if they're not, I don't love people who don't laugh. It's like a weird quality to me. Yeah. And so it's really cool that like Larry David, that you can like, I can be there, like, you know, fucking doing something in a scene and he'll break, you know, and like be and crack up. It's I don't know. It's very like, inviting. He's like such a human in that way that it's like the space becomes comfortable that you can like succeed in, you know? So yeah, it was a dream. So cool. I would love to continue that art.
It's really interesting that like you mentioned the audition too, because how does that audition work? Because you're playing yourself essentially. So like, does he want you to be playing like essentially the more exaggerated or caricature type version of you, or what did he want?
You kind of have like free reign a little bit, you know, and you know, they came with like a prompt that was like, here's the idea, you know, is that like we'd be casting like whoever we cast, and they'd be playing themselves, and then, you know, they have like a few ideas that they would want to throw in, but then like the audition is, I mean, it's just 10 minutes of you improving. So like whatever ideas you it's however you want to portray yourself, or whatever, or take the piss out of yourself, however you think that's funny. Like I, you know, and then they can include that. They'll include that in the show. You know, if they'll say like, we really liked, you know, this, how like when you called him on not knowing any of your movies. Like I did that in the audition, because I knew he wouldn't know who I was. So I asked him what he like loved me from, you know, and he just started like cracking up because he had nothing. And so then they had like, you know, so then they wanted us to like do that on the show. Because it's funny that he has no fucking idea who I am, and he's got to try to get me to the show. You know, I don't know. So yeah, you kind of, that's what's cool. It's such an open space for you to kind of, you know, have your ideas, and there's nothing better as an actor. You know, that's like first and foremost the most important thing, especially if you're improv. Yeah, you want to be able to have your ideas supported, obviously.
We got to talk about Twitter. I'm going to call. Is it okay to call you a prolific tweeter? Is that a title you'll accept? I feel like you have some pretty.
Sure. I feel like I pick my spots.
You do. I would. I
Yes.
think you do pick your spots. I'm gonna just reference a couple here. You had one recently. You said I had a catheter put in for the Batman. Is that because you didn't want to get up during it, or was it too long? What's the commentary there?
Yeah, it was a joke. I mean, the commentary is, and this is sometimes how it goes with me. I was with I got in last night. I was with my cousin. We got a couple beers. I was like, "Did you see Batman?" You know, and he's like, "No, I haven't seen it. How was it?" And I was like, "Long." I was like, "It's like 3 hours." You know, and he's like, "No fucking way, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I had to put a catheter in for the Batman." And I was like, "Quitting that." So then, sometimes I don't know. That's like how it happens. I was just like kind of drunk and thought it was funny.
Did it open the floodgates for? I feel like you're endlessly fan cast as Nightwing. Did it open the floodgates for that?
Oh, I have no idea. I won't dip into responses too much, especially sometimes if it's like that on a whim. I was like, I'll just let that. I put it out there. Can't take it back now.
You quote tweeted our podcast once. We tweeted out. We tweeted out that the Joker had 11 nominations, and you quote tweeted with just "What the fuck." You did a WTF. It was a WTF question mark.
I remember that. I got so much shit for that.
Oh,
and I get 16,000 retweets, 5,000 quote tweets.
Woo!
It's a good ratio.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a thing where like I think like why can't like actors share opinions on things, I
agree.
So like I think it's funny because, and also it's whatever, it was very I guess it was like it's 3 letters, so I think people run away with like it's not like I didn't think it was like I didn't think Joker's like a piece of shit, but I was just like it's not Ben-Hur, like I was just like what's going on,
It is anytime a movie gets nominated 10 plus times, it's like you start to go in like Lord of the Rings territory.
It's like, hey, hang on. Yeah, I just didn't think it was. And then the mob is
yeah.
But I think it's fun. I think it's like I love when I see actors like I don't know, I love when like I think it should be completely normalized that like actors in the industry can like share opinions about the industry, like
from our side. I would agree. I like that was great when I like Randy Kenja.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, look at this quote tweet. I was like, this is awesome. Like the real opinion.
Being candid,
right.
It's so regular. Like I don't understand why it's like why is it
so taboo? Like why can't we be like, yo, this looks crazy? Because also it comes from like I love movies, like and movies are subjective, it's like it's not that's what's fun about them. Like, and it's not, it's not saying if I think that that's crazy, it's not that I think it's like a bad movie. It's not black and white. Movies are always a lot of things. Like some of my favorite movies are like, terrible movies, but they're amazing to watch. And like, I don't know, I just love the idea that we can like, share those opinions. It's like what I talk about with my friends who are also like in movies and also love movies. So it's like, it's just the conversation, like I love talking about movies. So I want to be able to like talk about, movies and not have it be like so taboo that like I said something, I don't know, like interpreted as completely negative or something.
We'll skip the Morbius tweet, but that was the one I was going to bring up next.
Yes. Because we love talking about Morbius. We love talking about how it's been delayed 5,000
times. That's what I'm saying. Me too. Because it's like, yo, what is that going to be?
They played 2 different trailers for the Batman for me. There were 2 separate Morbius trailers.
It looks insane. And like, and it's like, yo, I remember I was in London filming a movie that came out 1.5 years ago when that movie was already in the can. So it's like, what has gone on? I'm so curious. It must be nuts. And why can't we all just like talk? No one's talking about this.
I think people expect actors to just tweet like their brand accounts and just be like, come look at my movie. It comes out this date. Come look at this movie. It comes out this date. It's boring.
And I know. And like, it's like, no, I don't know. I think so. I think it is authentic to me to like, I don't know, every now and then drop a little,
I love it. I love it. Last thing, I got one project idea for you. You're in with HBO. You did Curb. HBO just debuted their new Lakers series. You're a huge Mets fan.
Yeah.
What about a workplace Mets comedy?
Oh my God. I mean,
Who would you play? Would you take up the David Wright role? Like what?
Yeah, well, what? I mean,
what's an ideal Mets role
like
for you?
80, like the 86 Mets team.
Okay.
I mean, that's it, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what you'd want to see. I don't know who I play on that fucking game. That's the other. I don't know if I can play like a professional athlete. I can play like Dustin Pedroia or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. Like I can't.
Did you? I mean,
I can't play like.
You've seen the pictures of like who was it? Al Pacino in the lifted shoes for The Irishman. You don't need to play a short guy. They can cheat. They can do a little movie magic.
Still, it's like the guy who plays Magic in the Lakers series. They have him on platforms all the time. It's wild.
Well, if he has Lenny Dykstra, I think that would be fun. I think you could go off the rails with that.
Oh my God.
Nails.
That's the call, nails. But I mean, God, it's so hard to. That guy is such a fucking monster.
Yeah.
We work with the most pessimistic Mets fan in the world. I just want to let you know that. Nobody's more pessimistic. It's this guy on Twitter, Frank the Tank. He works with us. He is the most pessimistic Mets fan in the world. You won't. Yeah. He just picketed he protested outside of the MLB offices the other day. But nobody. It's his. I need you to follow him. It's NJ.
I'm fine. Wait, do I not follow him? It's so possible that I do.
I think it's like what's his name?
NJ Tank 99 on Twitter.
Yeah.
MJ Tank 99.
Yeah, and NJ
New Jersey Tank 99. NJ Tank.
Oh, NJ.
He will if Jacob DeGrom steps off the mound wrong, he will scream in the office if the Mets are going to lose 100 games.
Yep.
I've seen this guy.
Yep.
It's a legend. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't follow him, actually. I love Mets fans. I love Mets. It's so funny because it's like, and we all fall into it. Like, I think I'm a pretty realistic Mets fan. Like, I don't think I'm optimistic. I don't think I'm that pessimistic either. But at the end of the day, we are all Mets fans. Like, and it will show that. Like, me and my buddy will make some hilarious like signing of like a reliever who got like waived by the Rays and signed him to like a 1 year like $500,000 major league contract, and it'll be a guy who like analytically has like found some crazy spin on his like velocity, and we'll be like, yo, this guy could be something. Like and the guy's out of the organization by April, and it's like
it's a fraternity, man. You guys like are all. It's amazing.
No matter what, though, I always have that hope. Like I'll be like, yo.
I'm a Browns fan. I know what it's like. It's like a pathetic, like, you just. It
cracks me up. Like as much as I love to think that I'm like on the realistic side, like I'll always do classic Mets fan shit like that. I catch myself a Mets fan. It's the same thing with the Jets. I'm like, coming in here, I was like, this squad. Like, I'm like, yo, Zach. I'm like,
yes.
We got Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all because it's a domino. You commit yourself on one stupid thing for one player. Like, well, if he's good,
then we're all good. We're set.
Yeah. Barrett Tucker. I was like, this line is going to be insane.
Oh, no one's getting past back then. Are you kidding?
I watch him like, obviously like the start of the season too, like blown out. You're like, I mean, whoa! It doesn't even look like they're like playing together like during the week, And my expectations for next season are like so high. Nothing's changed. Mm-hmm. 4 picks in the first 38. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Restart the cycle.
I'm getting like all excited all over again. It's hilarious.
Thank you so much, man. The Outfit, March 18th. Check it out. Awesome movie. One of the best starts here to 2022 so far. Dylan O'Brien. And then we'll be on the lookout for the Morbius review on Twitter. So.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Later.